Maryan Street.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Treaty of Waitangi negotiations and asks, does he agree with the Prime Minister's comment reported by Tamati Kruger that Tūhoe ownership of Te Urewera National Park was, quote, complex but workable, unquote?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister does not recall making that statement, and I'm not going to speculate on this issue on the basis of hearsay.
The Honourable Maryan Street.
Further to that, as a supplementary, Mr Speaker, then who decided to abandon that line of negotiation, if it were one, the day before the paper was expected by Tūhoe to go to Cabinet? The Prime Minister, Stephen Joyce, or himself?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister's explained the sequence of events and the circumstances giving rise to the paper being withdrawn from Cabinet. It's actually quite offensive to make that kind of comment about Mr Joyce, who is a very good Cabinet Minister.
Order.
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Maryan Street.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Was the Cabinet decision, we'll assume, influenced by focus groups conducted on the North Shore during the week or weekend prior to the paper going to Cabinet, as reported by the Whakatane Beacon today?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
My advice...
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
My advice to that honourable member is not to rely on tittle-tattle and local rags. I think the important thing is that this government is committed to a... Oh, they don't want the answer.
Order.
This government is committed to a just and durable settlement with Tūhoe, which serves the interests of both parties, and we're determined to achieve that.
Hane Harawira.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. To the Minister, what feedback has he received from other iwi about whether or not the Prime Minister's recent Tūhoe outburst has had any effect on their ability to negotiate their own treaty settlements?
Honourable Chris Finlayson.
The feedback I've received is the feedback I always receive, that iwi are keen to settle just and durable settlements with the Crown, and that they're very pleased that this government has applied additional resources to the task and is enthusiastic about getting on with the job in comparison to the previous administration, which achieved 1.6 settlements per year.
The Honourable Maryan Street.
To the Minister, given the disquiet that numbers of iwi leaders have expressed about the collapse of the negotiation with Tūhoe, does the Minister expect to use focus groups to determine negotiating parameters in treaty settlements in the future, or does he intend to take a more principled position in negotiations?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
No, and what we are doing is getting on with something her government singularly failed to do, and that is get just and durable settlements. And the evidence for that, they don't like the evidence, they don't like the truth. The evidence for that is that in the first 8 months of this year, we're running at 133% of target when it comes to achieving AIPs.
Rahui Katane.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. What is the precedent for the use of reversionary interest within a settlement, as suggested in this morning's New Zealand Herald, as a possible mechanism for the Tūhoe settlement?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
I have an idea that the Herald could have been referring to a similar sort of reversionary arrangement which was in the Ngāti Ruanui settlement over the Makino Reserve, but I don't know the detail of that because I wasn't involved in that settlement. There was one of those very rare occasions when the other lot actually did a settlement.
Question number 9, John Hayes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is